Many of the events that took place 30 years ago have been erased from my memory, but every minute of May 4th, 1993 is imprinted in my mind as if it happened yesterday. I got up at dawn, awakened by the clinking of dishes in the kitchen. My wife was setting the table. Having quickly cleaned myself up after a nap, I joined her. It was necessary not so much to set the table as to remove from it the excess left after my birthday yesterday. I planned to go fishing after my birthday because it was Memorial Day weekend. But what can you do? You have to fulfill your promises, and I promised my girlfriend that I would take her to see her parents today. So instead of fishing, I had to travel from my town to another town, 80 miles one way. It's not much, of course, but the day is certainly lost. Upon arrival, I'll have to sit, smile, and pretend that I'm interested in women's gossip. After a leisurely snack, I took the bag with presents for my relatives that I had prepared yesterday, and we set off. My old Ford was moving along the highway quite briskly, as it usually does. At the exit from the village, I looked to the right. Drivers here are not known for their tidiness, and I don't need my car to get too familiar with one of the heavy trucks, which looked like it was on steroids and painted pink for some reason. Nothing foreshadowed any trouble, and in general, any significant events. An empty highway and a strange man standing 200 meters ahead on the side of the road. And then my father's voice sounded, "John, slow down." It felt like it was him, not my wife, sitting to my right. I involuntarily hit the brake and looked at my wife. She looked at me with bewilderment, and in that second, the man standing on the curb started moving. To say that he was drunk is an understatement. He was barely on his feet and started moving a couple of meters away from the hood. If I hadn't started braking beforehand, it would have ended badly for him. When I opened the door, I gave him a complicated goodbye and lit a cigarette. My wife asked me how I had figured out that he was drunk. "I didn't understand why you suddenly slowed down," she said. I joked back. "A drunk recognizes another drunk from afar, and I'm not quite myself after yesterday." After smoking, we continued driving. We arrived at our destination without any accidents, distributed gifts, took them, and returned in the evening. The pleasant spring evening and conversations with my relatives made what had happened on the road fade into the background. The empty highway made me want to speed up, so I sinfully drove through the same empty town and did not slow down at the request of a road sign, or rather, even two. In addition to the 60 inches sign, there was a children's sign. It was a lesson I would remember for the rest of my life. My father's voice echoed in my head, full of panic. "Pull over!" I pushed the pedal to the floor as far as it would go. If I hadn't, the child who had jumped out of the dense shrubbery on the side of the road would have been under the wheels. Upon arrival, while struggling with the keys at the door, a neighbor emerged from the apartment across the hall, slipped an envelope containing a telegram into my hand, and rushed back in. The telegram contained only a few terse words. "Father died this morning. Come."